Hey everybody, this is Josh and Melissa again with another episode of In the Car With. Today we are in the car of a 2023 Hummer SUT. Now I know you've seen the commercials of these vehicles with stars such as LeBron James and other people, but we wanted to kind of give you an inside look of this vehicle today and talk about some of the features of it. So let's start with there. There are three features that we want to highlight today. Melissa, what is a feature that you think is interesting?
How about the 11,500 pounds of torque?
Yeah, that's insane. And we just heard the Hummer actually talk to us. That little crab sound was the Hummer. And we will get to the crab walk. Yeah, there's 11,500 pounds of torque, and that is created by the three engines that are essentially running this vehicle. There's one on the front axle and two on the rear axle. So there's a lot of torque that's coming out of this. So even though it's an electric vehicle, and you might think, oh, there's not much power there, this thing has the power to tow, you know, a lot of stuff. Another feature that's interesting is the power eTrunk, or some people call it the frunk. So obviously there is no there's no internal combustion engine in this vehicle. And so they utilize that trunk space. Now, what are some things that you can store in there?
Your moonroofs.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, there's storage for all four of these that come out, and they come with also packaging, per se, like bags that you can store them in there.
Cool. So like a little bit of a safety for the glass on the moonroof as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when this is open, it just feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really cool. I mean, it's interesting right now looking at these moonroofs. There's a little blue tint like on them, so kind of lessens that intensity from the sun coming into the vehicle, which is really nice. That's a really nice feature. Another feature that I found interesting when I was driving this vehicle around was the one pedal driving feature, as well as the regen on demand.
No need for a brake pedal anymore.
Yeah, so can you explain for those that are at home, maybe not have tried the one pedal driving, what would you describe that experience as?
It's like driving a luxury golf cart. Yeah. So as soon as you slow down, your car is going to come to a stop. Yeah. There is no need for the brake pedal. It's still there, to make you feel comfortable. But with the one pedal driving, it takes all the energy that it would use to brake and puts it back into the battery. Right.
And so GM has actually put this in both the Lyriq as well as in this vehicle. And what was interesting about driving, because I've had the chance to drive both, the Lyriq and this one, is that because this vehicle is a little bit heavier than the Lyriq, I found that when I had to be more gentle when I was releasing that brake pedal. It was a little more sensitive, It's kind of like if you've ever driven with someone who's just learning how to drive stick, and they're kind of not finding that contact point just yet in the clutch. It felt very jerky when I first, because the weight of the vehicle was actually slowing me down, when I was releasing off of that pedal. And so I kind of had to be it was a little more sensitive, so to say. And what's really cool, the reason why GM did that is because when you're releasing that accelerator pedal, it's not a gas pedal because it's an electric vehicle. There's no gas that is powering this vehicle when it's being driven. When you let go of the accelerator, it's actually recharging the battery. Yep. So that's the regen. And there's a button on the steering wheel where if you're used to paddle shifting, there's a regen button on the left side of the steering wheel. The regen paddle on the steering wheel is kind of like when you let off the pedal. So that also regenerates. That's why it's called regen. Regenerates the power for it. Yeah, you have to hit it for it to do it. Yeah, and you can hold it.
Taught me something.
So it's using the paddle shifter is very interesting because I was playing with it when I was driving this one day, and I basically didn't have to let off the accelerator pedal as much if I was using. It was almost like I had a brake pedal in my hand.
Right here.
Yeah. So that was really interesting. So that's a new thing for people who may not have driven EVs before. If you're coming out to drive your first EV, it might be something to talk to your salesperson about. Does this have one pedal driving? Can I try the regen feature? You know, all those different things. Now, we haven't seen a Hummer since 2008, I think it was the last time that the Hummers were produced by GM. So there's obviously a lot that has changed in this vehicle. What's something that stuck out to you that's changed?
Well, the new features, for one. I know that everybody probably listening can't wait for the crab walk or the watts to freedom.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. But another thing I'd like to point out is the turn radius on this thing. It'll turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be able to show you that.
Yeah, I've heard that this thing has a turn radius that's like sharper than a Chevy Volt.
Absolutely.
You know, which is a tiny sedan-like car. Obviously, it's one thing that I remember about Hummers was that they had terrible gas mileage.
Oh yeah, you couldn't afford to. You couldn't afford to have
like
them.
12, 13 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
It was ridiculously low. So obviously,
Not
it's
anymore.
no longer a vehicle with low gas mileage. The H3 had a V8, and in alpha mode, you could get 320 pounds of torque with that. Versus, we've already mentioned with the Hummer EV, you can get 11,500 pounds of torque. So there's obviously a lot more torque to this vehicle. The H3 V8 had 300 horsepower, and this has 1,000 horsepower. Once again, provided by those 3 different motors, 1 at the front axle and 2 at the rear axle. And you can definitely see that in the watts to freedom. You know, that's how that thing just takes off. You know, with so much weight, going 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. So the H3T and the Hummer EV both have a 5-foot cargo bed, but the Hummer EV has a multi-pro tailgate. So you can flip it down, work on your laptop, you know, whatever you want to do, step in easily. Has the rails on the side to help you get up into your vehicle a little easier. All right, now on to what everybody cares about.
Range, probably.
Range. What is the range of this vehicle?
355 miles.
All right, so you can get pretty far on it. It does have GM's Ultium battery in it. So once again, that is, just to remind you, if you didn't see our previous podcast, that is, or you don't know about the GM Ultium battery, their batteries are made where you can kind of align them like bread slices back and forward, or you can stack them like pancakes up and down. So that's how they're able to use this battery in several different vehicles, and how they're able to get so much power out of it because of that different way that they're able to put them in an array. A dual level charge cord is included in this vehicle. However, that will only charge at 10 miles of range per hour of charge. So if you're looking at fully charging this vehicle from 0 to 100, which we would never recommend getting it all the way down to 0, you need a level 2 charger. I mean, because it's going to take you over 30 hours to charge this vehicle. So definitely you want to watch if you only do have that dual level charge cord at home, that you don't let that get down too far. It is a 22-foot cord that comes with it, but the level 2 charging station, tell us about that one, Melissa.
The level 2 charging station, it is something that you can actually get in your home.
Yep.
Yeah, which is what we would have to recommend, because with something like this, you know, only charging on a level 1, you're just not going to get that, you know, great mileage. So I would definitely recommend a level 2. But there's also level 2 chargers available across your state.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that one you get 16 miles of range per hour charge, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But we do definitely recommend, actually it's required that a professional electrician install that. So you definitely want to get that installed by a professional electrician. The driver infotainment screen, just so you know, the driver information center is 12 inches, so it's pretty big. And the infotainment screen is 13 inches, so that's massive. I mean, I love looking at this screen, seeing all the different spots that we have. There are Ultravision cameras all around this vehicle. So, you know, hooking up a hitch to it or something, definitely have cameras to do that, which is great. Super Cruise is available on this video. Do you want to remind the people about Super Cruise?
Yes, I love Super Cruise. Super Cruise is the self-driving vehicle. And I'm sure that we've mentioned it before. It's in GM models, you have a camera facing you. So where it's okay to, engage Super Cruise and I can talk to Josh and we can do like this, but if I don't keep my face towards the road, you can feel free to look, but we're not going to go to sleep at the wheel. It's all about safety, and so this camera is facing me to make sure that I'm paying attention to the road as well. You'll have a green bar on your steering wheel when you can engage in Super Cruise. It does also turn blue and red. If it's red, the conditions are not right. If it is blue, it just means you need to get in the middle of the lane. As soon as it turns green, you can feel free to let off the gas and let go of the steering wheel.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Super Cruise is so freeing to be able to just kind of let your hands off the steering wheel.
It's great on when you're on road trips. I mean, it just gives you that rest.
Yep. And then we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, but the infinity roof is a really cool feature on this vehicle. Just take the top off in the summer. It's very easy. There's just a couple of handles that you pull out. And as we said before, you can store that in the frunk or the eTrunk. So, if you're out doing something and you realize it's a nice day out, you can really quickly take these off and put it in. Or maybe you're out doing something and it starts to get rainy and cloudy and you want to put them back on. It's a great option to have those. All right, so now we're going to show you a few features that we've talked about of the Hummer. We're going to do the crab walk, we're going to do the tight turn, and then we'll also do the watts to freedom. So we hope you enjoy that. Alright, so our last segment always is we talk about who would be the ideal customer for this car. I think someone who loves the outdoors. Absolutely. Someone who wants to just get outside, go explore. I mean, you've seen the commercials of this vehicle. They're in the desert. They're running out on trails. They're doing a lot of fun stuff. So definitely someone who loves the outdoors, loves being outside.
Or hear me out. Because of the crab walk, I think it would be also just as fit for a city dweller.
Yeah.
In and out those tight spaces when you're,
parking.
Bumper to bumper traffic and parking on the side of the city walk. And so, I mean, honestly, it could be for both. Obviously off-roading, but I think city would benefit from it too.
Yeah. Well, it's a great vehicle, and so if you want to come out and test drive this, purchase one, put it on order, we'd love to see you at Everett Chevrolet. You can shop our selection online, www.everettchevy.com, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Make sure to shop this vehicle and all our other selections at everettchevy.com.